Hey Odooers! Project management and time tracking go hand in hand. When you track time, you make sure that clients' billings are accurate, you can easily keep track of a project's pace, and can quickly identify bottlenecks to solve them and keep the project moving. This is why we use Odoo Timesheets here at Stealthywood. Employees can record their time manually or with a timer on a desktop or on their phones. And if they lose connection, data is synced once they are back online. So let's jump to Stealthywood's database to see how it works. All right, so here I am on Stealthywood's database. So let's dive in directly to the Timesheets application. And the first thing I'm going to see is an overview of my timesheets. And I know that because I'll see timesheets right here. And then right away, we can start recording some time. So I can either do that manually by clicking on Add a Line here, where I can select the project and then say how many hours I spent. I can even select the day. All right, and then save. And we can also modify that from this view as well. So instead of 2 hours, maybe it was just 1 hour and 30 minutes. I can edit that here. I can even add time. Let's say here I spent 2 hours. All right, and then we're going to see the totals for each day at the bottom, and then the totals for your projects and tasks on the right side, and then cumulative total at the bottom right. And something else we can do is actually use hotkeys, which are shortcuts and offer quick access to particular functions to timesheet on specific tasks. And these hotkeys will actually start the timer. Okay, so for example, if I'm ready to go, I want to start time sheeting on one of these projects, let's say in here, I just simply need to click in on my keyboard and you'll see that the timer has started. And it went ahead and added the project and the task since that's the one that was related to this letter. All right, to stop, I simply will click on enter and that time has been recorded just like that. Now, if I want to start recording once again, some more time, I'm simply going to click on the space bar and you're going to notice that a project has not been selected nor a task, which I can do manually, or if I want to go ahead and select one of these projects and tasks that are already recorded here, I can go ahead and do that as well. So let's say this will be for D. I'll click on D and that will be added just like that. But of course, we can modify this if we need to. And then we're going to stop. Okay, so it is as simple as that to record and encode your timesheets, which is really nice. And then we have some other options as well. So if you hover over these little boxes, you're going to see a magnifying glass, which we can click on to see the aggregated values. And of course, we can modify things here. Okay, we can even go to the list view, and this is really great if you need to search for specific timesheets or if you want to filter and group by different things. So first of all, you have your filters if you want to filter by your own projects, which I don't have any projects right now. I only have tasks that I'm assigned to, but you can also group by task here. So I'll see, for example, that I have 12, which are undefined. So then I might want to go ahead and quickly add the tasks for each of these that are undefined. So that's just a really nice tool to stay organized with your timesheets and modify them if you need to. Now what I'm going to do is actually jump to configuration and settings. And I'm going to change the encoding unit. So we're going to set the unit based on days rather than hours, even though hours is the most, let's say, typical option. All right, and please note that your reports will be shown in the unit with the unit that you will choose. So let's select days. I'm going to click on save and we're going to see what this looks like. All right, so I'm going to go to timesheets, my timesheets again. All right, so we selected days. Now if I click here, it's going to add a half day for that project and task. I can click it again to add a whole day. And again, if I add a line, I'm going to see the time spent here is in days. All right, but I'm going to go back to the settings and I'm going to go back to hours. All right. Okay, so you're going to notice as well that there are a couple of options below around timesheets. Now, this is specifically for when you're using the timer. All right, so this won't be for when you're manually encoding your timesheets, but for when you're using the timer, as we saw when I used the hotkeys. You can also start the timer when you're on projects and tasks as well. Now we have a couple of options we can add. We can add the minimal duration, and we can also round up. So rounding up will round to the highest unit that you set here. So for example, let's say we set this to 10 minutes, and then you start the timer and you let it go for 2 minutes, you stop the timer. That entry will actually be recorded as 10 minutes because you're rounding of what you have rounded here. And if you start the timer and stop it at 10 minutes and 30 seconds, then that time will be rounded up to 20 minutes. All right. So actually, let me give you another example that includes both of these options as well. So let's say that the minimal duration will be 35 minutes and your rounding up will be 30 minutes. So anytime that you record that is below 35 minutes will be set or recorded as your minimal duration, so 35 minutes, plus your rounding. So the rounding of 35 minutes, so all of this together means that the encoded time would be 1 hour. And again, I just want to emphasize that this is for the timer and not for manual entries. Great. So let's discard the changes that I've made here. And the last thing I want to show you in this video, although there are many other videos for you to check out, will be our awesome Timesheets app. So you'll see that it's activated here, and I'll actually be able to access that when I go to Timesheet and Timesheet app, and you'll see that you can get it on Google Play, you can download it on the App Store, and you will also be able to add it to Google Chrome. So you have your options beautifully listed here. And then you can even test around and see what it would look like if you would like to use it or not by playing around here when you go to Timesheet app. And I'm actually going to do that from my employee's profile. Okay, so from one of my internal users. So I'm going to go to Timesheets in the Timesheet app. And this is really great because let's imagine that your employees work offline, or if they lose connection, the data will actually be synced once they come back online. But something that's really important to note is that for a user to see a project in the app, the project needs to be active, so it can't be archived, and it needs to be starred or favorited by the user. And the user needs to have at least one task assigned to them, or they need to be the manager of the project or following the project. So for example, to add a new timesheet, so I can click on start, just record my time, do my thing, stop. All right, I want to add my project. I see that I only have one project available here, but I know that Gerard is responsible for more projects. So what I'm going to do is actually jump to the project application, and I'm going to be sure that the project that he would like is starred, and he is also assigned to a task in that project as well. All right, and then we're going to come back to the app. Okay, again, stop that time. Okay, and then we can select that project. So just note that you do have to have that starred, and the users need to have a task or following that project in some form in order to see it here in the app. All right, and then we can save that, and then we'll be able to access different things. We can see today's plan this week, different statistics, and then we can also synchronize our data as well. So if we need the data to be synchronized with Odoo, we can click on Sync Now. So that is the basics of the Timesheets application. If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.